light. Ready? Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheswaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tumeva Madhacha Pida Tvameva Tumeva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tumeva Vidya Dravinam Tumeva Sarvam Amriteshwari Ma Tumeva Sarvam Amriteshwari Ma Tumeva Sarvam Amriteshwari Ma. Om Amriteshwari Namah. We'll begin with a short meditation. Kindly sit straight and make sure you have a vertebral column. Spinal column is erect. Slowly close your eyes. Become aware of each and every breath that occurs through your body. As you watch your breath, you will also slowly start relaxing as the number of thoughts become less and less. Now we'll chant the mantra Om 3 times. As we chant Om, imagine the sound to arise from your navel area, cleansing your body, your mind, and the atmosphere around you. Now kindly take a deep breath. Feel the reverberations of Om in each and every part of your body. Feel the relaxation and feel completely relaxed now. Once again, bring your awareness on your breathing. Aware of each and every inhalation and exhalation. And now, as you breathe in, chant the mantra, the syllable Ma silently along with your in-breath. And when you exhale, chant Om. Ma is a representation of divine love. And when you breathe in, chanting Ma, feel the love rising up in your heart. And similarly, when you exhale, chanting Om, which is a symbol of light, feel the light spreading throughout. So Ma, divine love, and Om, divine light. Continue for some time. Slowly and slowly, the reverberations of Ama and Om become more and more subtle. You just feel the vibrations of Ma and Om rather than the physicality. Feel your heart being filled with that divine love and light. As the love and light fills your heart, imagine your heart expanding, overflowing with that love and light, just like a flower bud that blossoms into a beautiful flower. Feel that love and light emerging from your heart. You now visualize that light going out from your heart to all the beings, filling them with love, with peace, with silence, and with bliss. Imagine each and every being filled with that light, just like the rays of the sun. Imagine they all become more silent, more peaceful, more blissful, and more loving. Let's chant Luka Samasta 9 times as we imagine so. Om Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu 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 Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Dhyayamo Dhvlavagundhanapatim Tejomayim Naistikim Snigdha Pangavilokinim Bhagavatim Mandasmidashri Mukhim Valsalyamritavarshinim Sumadhuram Sankirtanalapinim Shamangim Madhusukta Suktim Amritanandatmikam Ishwarim Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Parambaram Sruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Logashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bhadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavandau Punah Punaha Ishwarau Guru Rakmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Amriteshwaryaye Namaha Om Amriteshwaryaye Namaha Om Amriteshwaryaye Namaha. In the last session, we saw that Lord Krishna was born and he was taken to Vrindavan, where Yashoda, Mother Yashoda, had given birth to a girl, and he put Lord Krishna there, and then he took the girl and came back to the prison. And the prison doors closed and everything went just the same way it was before. And when the guards woke up hearing the cry of the baby, they went running to him, running to Kamsa, and said that the eighth child has been born. And when Kamsa came running, with tremendous fear, because the eighth child was supposed to kill him, he saw that it was a girl, and he was ready to take the girl, and he was ready to kill. Then Devaki was asking Kamsa not to kill the girl because it's a girl child, and it's not going to hurt Kamsa in any way. And but Kamsa did not listen, and then Kamsa took the girl with by its leg, and when he was about to smash its head, just like the other children, on a rock, on a stone, the child flew away from his hand, and as the child was going out, the child uttered, "Kamsa, your killer has been born." And then one warning was given: don't kill any of the babies. So that was the warning. So, having said that, the Yoga Maya, who was in fact in the form of that little girl, said, and of course the Yoga Maya had appeared in front of Kamsa with all her splendor, with 4 arms and all her weapons and all the conch and the discus and everything. And so when she disappeared, saying this, so when Kamsa heard this and saw the Yoga Maya, he was wonderstruck. And he immediately released Devaki and Vasudeva from the prison. And just like, as we see, how Vedanta, the words in Vedanta can be used. or misused. So Kamsa here is who is a demon, who's a murderer, who has killed several children, and now he's justifying his actions through Vedanta. So that's in one sense, that is the beauty about Vedanta, as well as the curse, because you can justify any action by saying that, oh, it's God's will that I enacted this in this way. So you can see that a true Vedantin may not say so, but we'll come to that later. But here, as we see the words of Kamsa, he is acting like a Vedantin. And he is supplicating to Devaki and Vasudeva, saying, "Oh sister, oh brother, alas, I am a veritable sinner. Like a Rakshasa killing his own children, I have killed all these little ones. And villainous, merciless, and devoid of all family affection, I do not know what hells are in store for me. A veritable living corpse as for a killer of holy men. It's not man alone that utters lies, even superhuman beings seem to do so. The wretched that I am, I happen to kill all these children of my sister, believing in the ethereal voice." So he's just, first of all, he's justifying his actions. And he's saying, look, I'm agreeing that he's a villain, and he's merciless and devoid of all family affection, because Kamsa's sister is Devaki. And so he's killing his own nephews or nieces. And he's saying that I don't know what is in store for such a killer who kills even holy men. And he's also justifying, saying that it's not only man who utters lies, but superhuman beings also. And then he's saying that, I believe that ethereal voice, that, when Kamsa was coming out in the chariot with Devaki and Vasudeva, the voice that told Kamsa that the 8th child is going to kill Kamsa, he said, I believe that voice. And it was so stupid of me. Why should I believe that? And so then now he goes into more and more deeper Vedanta. And he says, do not grieve for your children, O sister and brother. After all, they have only suffered the fruits of their own actions. Creatures do not live forever. Even when living, they cannot live together. For man is subject to the results of his actions of previous births. And like earthen pots, we find bodies coming and going. But just as the mud, their basis is not destroyed with the destruction of the pot, so also the soul is not destroyed with the destruction of the body. So just see his seemingly justification. He's saying all these things, this is because of their karma. And he doesn't want to own up and say that I killed them. He's saying that it's their karma that they had to die. And even if they had lived, that's what he's saying. Again, he's saying this. Even if they had lived, they would not have been living together. They would have separated, they would have lived somewhere else. And so he's saying man or a human being is subject to the actions of their previous births. So karma, he's talking about karma siddhanta. And he is saying, again, coming back to Vedanta and saying, like earthen pots, we find bodies coming and going. So this is a typical example from Vedanta, that the pots is, vessels made of clay. The pots what happens, there are pots of different shape, but what is the basic substance? When you destroy the pot, only the form disappears, but the clay remains. So he's saying that just as the mud is there, that is the clay is the basis, it's not destroyed by the destruction of the pot, so also the soul is not destroyed by the destruction of the body. So this is, high Vedanta that he's talking now. And a person who does not understand this gets entrenched in his differences from others and becomes subject to birth and death. So now he's talking about, the unity and egatva bhava. And he's saying that, if you get entrenched in the differences between others and you see yourself different from others, then what happens? You are subject to birth and death. And his involvement in transmigratory existence is never ending. And he's talking about others. He's not talking about himself. He's not seeing himself. But while talking Vedanta, that's the whole thing. And therefore, O good lady, though from our worldly point of view, it looks that I have killed your children, do not grieve over it. It's so easily said. Look at what he's saying. And he says, all creatures helplessly suffer the fruits of their own actions. And he's indirectly implying that it was Devaki's karma in their previous births that made him kill all the children. And so he says, so long as a man without knowledge of the difference between the body and the Atman thinks, I am killed or I am killing, it is that ignorant man who identifies with the body with the Atman that undergoes the experience of the doer and the enjoyer. And pardon me for my heartless action. Being good people, you will be sympathetic towards the repentant. So he's saying high Vedanta at the same time, and he's saying that it's only an ignorant person who identifies with the body and undergoes the experience of the doer and the enjoyer. And then suddenly he asks for pardon from his sister and brother-in-law. And so, saying so, Kamsa, with tears in his eyes, touched the feet of his sister and her husband, seeking their pardon. So you can just imagine, it's a crocodile tears. And it's not real tears. And he's touching the feet of his sister as if though he's becoming so humble. Yesterday I was saying that, the moment you touch somebody's feet, they suddenly become aware of the fact of humility. They become humble, not us. I mean, sometimes we don't intend to become humble by touching. You are forced to touch the feet of, especially when you see sannyasins, you'll go, I've seen people going like that, and touching, with their hands and saluting. Then some people will go like that, and some people will go like that. So there are different ways of touching the feet. And I'm not going there. So what happens is he touches the feet of his sister, and Devaki and Vasudeva. And so as soon as he touches the feet, as I said, there is a reaction. Always there is a nice reaction. And reassured by the announcement of Yogamaya, Kamsa conveyed his reconciliation by such words and released Devaki and Vasudeva from chains. And the words of repentant Kamsa very much assuaged the anger of Devaki, who bade farewell to her brother with a pleasant phrase. And Vasudeva said to him with a smiling face. So you can just imagine, how great they are. He has killed 8 of their children, and still they are smiling and forgiving the murderer. And they say, "O great one, that the eye sense in beings with reference to their bodies is born of ignorance. And that it is this eye sense that makes one distinguish between one's interest and that of others. These statements of yours are unexceptionable." So Vasudeva is praising Kamsa now for his words, even though it was not coming from his heart, and he did not even mean it. He was just justifying all his actions. He was just saying that. He's saying, Vasudeva, when he heard, that's the beauty about great people. Whenever they hear a word which is related to satsang, which is spiritual, immediately they become identified with that. And then, as you can see, when you talk to Amma about spirituality, her mood completely changes. And she becomes either so lively or she becomes like humble. Sometimes she starts elaborating on that point. And as you can see that they immediately they latch on to it. And so similarly, Vasudeva was such a great sadhak, a great person, a great yogi. And so he takes the good things which Kamsa said. And he's saying, that's why he's saying it's because of the eye sense. And that which makes one distinguish between one's interest and that of others. So it is the will of God, he continues, it's the will of God that directs one set of beings to destroy another, but men without unity of outlook, who are moved by sorrow, joy, fear, anger, greed, infatuation, and pride, do not understand this. So Vasudeva is commenting on that. And so if you don't have that vision of unity, then sorrow, joy, fear, anger, greed, infatuation, and pride do not understand this. So now they are released. And Kamsa, Sri Shuka continued. So Sri Shuka was, as you know, was narrating this story to King Parikshit. So he continues, he's saying that Kamsa went to his residence, sent off these words uttered in good faith and sincerity by Devaki and Vasudeva. And at daybreak, however, he sent for his ministers and reported to them all that Yogamaya said on the previous night. So this is where the problem comes. Sometimes, many a times, people try to change. And when things like that, when they have their own experiences, they try to change. But then the people around him, the soothsayers, those who praise them, come along and then they change the mind of that person. Just like Amma says about the Kaikeyi and her servant maid Mantara, who changed the mind of Kaikeyi. Until then Kaikeyi was so anxious, and she wanted to see Lord Rama to be the king. And when Mantara kept on saying that, it is her son Bharata who should become the king, 10 times, her mind completely changed. So this happens to many of us. So we have to be careful. As Amma always says, you have to be careful with whom you mix, whom you move with, and especially nowadays, the young crowd, if you fall into the wrong crowd, then what happens is you get into bad habits like drugs, alcohol, etc. And that becomes, and then it habit, and then destroys your whole life. Here also, it's just words, a few words, that changes the minds of people. And Kamsa now was repenting, but now all his ministers come back, calls his ministers. And he reports that what happened with the Yogamaya. And hearing these words of the master, these ministers who are really asuras, of perverse outlook, inimical to the devas, said as follows, full of spite and anger against the devas. So they were, asuras means, one sense, as I said earlier, asura just merely one translation is demon, but you can say that one who is focused on his body alone. That is a asura. So he says, the ministers now tell him, O king of bhajans, if things are like that, we shall immediately start killing all the babies in cities, villages, cowherd settlements, and other human habitations, without any distinction of whether these babies are 10 days old or more. What can these cowardly devas do, who are spending their days trembling in dread of the resounding twang of your bowstring? So they're also praising him in between and saying that, we'll kill all the children, and these devas are now hiding because, when they hear the sound of your bow, they run away. And when you began to shower your arrows, these devas, struck by your missiles, showed interest only in running away from their life from the battlefield. And some of them, laying down their weapons, surrendered and held their arms in salutation. Others, throwing away their garments and untying their hair, cried aloud ignominiously out of fear. But you spared the lives of all such persons, for it is a convention recognized by you that they must be considered as withdrawn from the fight, who have surrendered their arms, whose chariots have been damaged, who are trembling with fear, who have lost their bows, who are unwilling to fight, or who are engaged in other occupations on the battle. So he say, these are the rules in the ancient times. That when you fight, first of all, they usually say you have to fight with a person of your own strength. You cannot fight with a weakling. And then he's saying that in the war field, you are not supposed to kill. When you see people who are withdrawn from the fight and who have surrendered their arms, whose chariots have been damaged, and who are trembling with fear and who have lost their bows, and who are unwilling to fight, or who are engaged in these occupations, they're saying you spared them, as if it's something great. That is the rule in the ancient times during the war. And if suppose a person is in a chariot and he loses his chariot and he's on the ground, you cannot fight with that person. Or a person is on an elephant and the elephant falls down, you are not supposed to fight with that person. Or a person who is running away, or a person who has laid his arm. And so, then they ask the Kamsa, what can these devas do? They are bold where they have nothing to fear, and they throw challenges where there is none to fight. What can Hari, who hides himself in solitude, do? Hari is Vishnu here. And what can Shambhu, that is Shiva, who lives in the crematoria where men cannot enter, do? What can Indra, who is of little prowess, do? What can Brahma, who is always engaged in tapas, do? Even then, the devas, being our enemies, cannot be totally neglected. That is our view. Direct us, your faithful followers, to eradicate them. And so he's saying, all these gods, and including the trinities, and Brahma, the creator, they're saying they are all hiding. They have not come out. If they wanted, they should have come out and fought with us, but they are all hiding. Lord Vishnu is hiding in solitude, and Lord Shiva is in the crematorium where ordinary men cannot enter, and Indra has ran away, and even Brahma, who is doing tapas, has not come. So what can these devas do? So he's saying, a disease, if neglected at first, will get rooted in the body. And then it becomes difficult to treat. Senses too cannot be controlled if they are let loose in the beginning. So too an enemy proves difficult to uproot if he is allowed to get strong. So you just see the variety of things they are saying, talking about their bringing in spirituality in between, and also they're talking about all the different aspects of life. So he's saying that if you neglect a disease in the beginning, it gets rooted in the body. And senses, he's saying senses also, if you don't control your senses, and if you let them loose in the beginning, then you cannot control it afterwards. So Mahavishnu is the basic support of the devas. And Mahavishnu is present where Sanatana Dharma, the eternal religion, is observed. Sanatana Dharma is based on Veda, its teachings and observances, and on those who follow them. Therefore, we shall bring about the destruction of all holy men who are Vedic scholars and who practice the Vedic yajnas, and of cows whose milk products make the yajna possible. So he's saying, who is the basic support of all the devas? It is Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu, because why they considered Vishnu as the support is, Lord Shiva is always with the bhutas, right? And Brahma is not to be seen. He is always creating, sitting there and creating. And Shiva is the lord of all the demons. So it's actually they worship Lord Shiva. So he's their lord. Whereas Mahavishnu cannot be seen by them, as we saw earlier. Why they cannot see Mahavishnu is because they are not eligible to have his vision. And that's why they cannot see Mahavishnu. So they think that, Mahavishnu is hiding. And he's saying that he's the basic support of the devas. They don't realize he's also the support of the asuras as well. And he's letting go of the asuras in one way. When two people come to talk to Amma, Amma purposely, just like Narada, tells one person one thing, and this next person some more, she adds some more spice and tries to increase that intensity of enmity between them sometimes. So it's like that. So why? Because Amma does that because of basically to resolve their conflict, and not only that, so their karma is being just washed away. So he's saying that, Mahavishnu is present where Sanatana Dharma, that is the eternal religion, is observed. So what are we observing? We are observing Sanatana Dharma only. Amma is observing Sanatana Dharma only. And nowadays, that's what happens. You can see in India, there are also so many demons who say that, Sanatana Dharma is not correct, and Vedas are wrong, and you should not worship all these deities and should not go to the temples. But still, they can steal money from all the temples. These demons can steal money from temples and put it in their pockets. But at the same time, they keep saying Sanatana Dharma is not right. So what do they say? So they say we'll kill all the holy men who are Vedic scholars, and they practice Vedic yajnas. So they do yajnas, Vedic yagyas. And not only that, what happens, they want to kill all the cows, because the cows is the one who give milk, and the milk products are used for yajnas, like the ghee, butter, and the prasad, for making the prasad and all these things. Right? So let's kill all the cows as well. So the yajnas is not possible. And the form of Hari is constituted of holy men, cattle wealth, the Vedas, austerity, veracity, control of the senses, control of the mind, faith, mercy, forbearance, and Vedic sacrifice. So this is what is the form of Lord Vishnu. So he's saying that his form constitutes of the holy men and cattle wealth, that is the cows, Vedas, and control of the senses. That's what the Rakshasas don't want. They don't want their senses to be controlled, and they don't want to control their mind, and absolutely no faith, and no mercy, no forbearance. And so he said, Mahavishnu is the head of all devas, and also the root of them all, including Shiva and Brahma. He is the enemy of the Asuras, and is said to hide in the heart. That's a beauty. And the way to kill him is to suppress and destroy all men, all holy men. Yeah, as Amma's story was, she was saying, the God wanted to hide somewhere where people cannot find him. So what did God do? He just went there and hid in their own hearts. So he's saying that's the same thing here saying. So just look at their ignorance, but at the same time it's so funny saying that they are saying, oh, he's hiding in the heart. And they're talking about the heart of holy men, but they are not talking about themselves. Lord Vishnu is also present in their heart as well, which they don't realize. So they are so blinded and ignorant. And so Sri Shuka said, being thus advised by his vicious ministers, the evil-minded Kamsa, already bound by the noose of Yama, let loose a policy of persecution of holy men. So now Kamsa's mind changed after listening to his ministers. So now Kamsa says, okay, go and kill all the holy men. And basically, as you know, that when somebody advises you, and what is predominant in your mind, it's that what comes up. And you identify with that. And then when you identify with that, then what happens? Then the action also results from this identification and from the thought, that thought. So, just like as I was saying earlier, when Vasudeva identified with the good things that Kamsa was saying, right? And he immediately identified with that because he is such a pure-hearted person. Whereas Kamsa who is an evil-hearted person, the moment he heard all the ministers saying and their logic, he immediately jumped. And he immediately jumped and got ready to kill all the holy men. So he directed all those people who were naturally disposed to evil and oppression and who had the capacity to assume any form they liked, to carry on a campaign of persecution of all good and God-fearing men. Then he returned to his palace. So he's saying, these asuras have powers. They have powers, and also they have the capacity to assume any form they liked and go in disguise, as we can see later on with Lord Krishna also, they will go in disguise and then they will kill people. So he let all of them loose and told them to kill all these God-fearing men. And the close proximity of their own death compelled these evil-minded and stupid people to carry out a program of suppression and oppression of all virtuous men. The persecution of the virtuous men leads to absolute ruin. It annihilates his longevity, good fortune, reputation, virtuous conduct, his prospects in the hereafter. In fact, all that leads to the advancement of life. So he's saying, why are these people so evil-minded? Because they themselves are concerned about their death. And before they are killed, they want to kill others. If you see the life of some dictators, and there are still some dictators on earth, they are so afraid. They are such fearful people. They are like Kamsa. They are expecting death any moment, and they do not know how they would die. It is said that Hitler was, so afraid. He was so afraid of so many things, even some small insects also. And being such a, such a big and a dictator. And you can see the life of other people also. There's so many dictators. You take the life of any dictator for that matter. Their life is so terrible. Because, just like Kamsa, they are also living and thinking that any moment somebody can attack them and kill them. So instead of living every moment, they are dying every moment, as Amma says. And he says that, so it is this fear that drives these wicked people to do more and more evil actions. So before, they are suppressed, and they want to suppress their oppressors, which are all virtuous men. But what happens if you persecute the virtuous people? He says it will lead to absolute ruin. And it will annihilate longevity, good fortune, reputation, virtuous conduct. And in the hereafter, means when they die, it leads to advancement of life. Advancement of life means taking birth after birth after birth. So that is a result of the persecution of the virtuous people. So here, when we see that, we can understand the life of Kamsa. You take the life of Kamsa, we can understand so many of such people who live in this world doing all these evil actions. And earlier, as I was saying, they also, in one way, they have this tendency to justify all their actions. And any moment you can see that Kamsa was using Vedanta to his rescue. And they in their mind, they think what they're doing is correct. And it is needed. And he is also saying, talking pure Vedanta, saying that, this is the result of their actions, their own actions, that they have to undergo these things. And not because of him. And not because of all the evil actions he's doing. And he doesn't want to see that. So, in one sense, as I was saying earlier, you can see that Vedanta can be used in a proper manner as well as in a manner which is absolutely easy for evil people to justify. And as Amma says, a true Vedantin is a person who sees the unity in everything, and just like the left arm rushes to console the right arm. If there is a problem with the right arm, if there is a cut in the right arm, or if there is a pain in the right arm, immediately the left arm goes to rub the right arm. True Vedantins see the pain of others, not themselves. As you can see in Amma's case, she is suffering. It's not that she's sitting there and enjoying. She's sitting there day and night and suffering. Why? For others. For the sake of others. And why? Because she sees the other's pain as her own pain. And thus, such a true Vedantin sees that. There was a great Vedantin who came to US in early 1900s. His name was, early 2000s. 1900s. Just after Swami Vivekananda. And he is known as Ramatirtha. And Swami Ramatirtha, he talked about Vedanta most of the time. And one day, one person asked him, how do you define a true Vedantin? So he said, a true Vedantin is one who talks about Vedanta the whole day, but when he goes back at night, he keeps crying the whole night. So he was describing his own experience as a Vedantin. He used to talk about Vedanta, but when he went back at night, the whole night, they would say, his assistants would say, in the morning, they would see pillows after pillows drenched in tears. Because the whole night he would be crying. So it's like that. So Amma is saying that, a true Vedantin is one who sees and who feels the suffering of others like theirs. And it's, as you can see, the pseudo-Vedantins, Amma says, they talk about Vedanta, but if they don't get their breakfast at 9 o'clock in the morning, and even if it is 5 minutes late, then they get angry, and they have to get lunch at 12 o'clock, and dinner in the evening at 7, exact 7. And if these things don't appear in front of them, they will start shouting at other people and even getting angry or saying bad things about others. So, in one sense, what we have to observe, we have to understand is, if Vedanta, as we can see, is like fire. You can use fire to burn down a house, as well as you can use fire to cook food or produce heat when it is cold. And it depends on how you use it. You can destroy somebody, or you can construct their life as well. So, in true sense, as a true Vedantin, as the example before us as Amma, who Amma is, Amma never talks about Vedanta. That's the beauty about it. She never talks about, of course, sometimes she talks, but very rarely now she talks. But she is a practical Vedantin. She just enacts that. She doesn't talk about it. And, when I met Amma, that was what really attracted me. She was not preaching anything. She was just practicing. Many people keep talking very highly about all these great philosophy principles in life. But when you closely analyze their lives, their preaching and the practice does not match. They do not align together. Whereas when you see Amma, Amma does not preach anything. I mean, her whole teaching is about just sitting there and giving. And, that's why the previous president, Abdul Kalam, used to say that, whenever he came to Amritapuri, the one thing that he learned was how to give. Keep on giving, keep on giving. That's what he's saying. So that's Amma's life. And the true Vedantin is like that. As Amma says, it's like a candle which burns itself and dies while giving light to others. So we don't need to look at any other examples other than Amma as the true Vedantin. And just follow her advice and emulate. Of course, we cannot emulate all her actions, but at least some of it, just like giving, being loving to others, and doing things selflessly for others. So all these things which we can emulate and learn from Amma's life. That is true Vedanta. And Vedanta in action, we can say. So may Amma gives us the grace to enact the true Vedanta in our own lives as well. And it's not just merely words, it's not merely scriptures, but how we interact with others in this world. Om Amriteshwari Namah.
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
गीत नहीं सुर नहीं फिर भी मैं गाओ, तू ही बता मेरी माँ मैं क्या करूँ।
गीत नहीं सुर नहीं फिर भी मैं गाऊं, तू ही बता मेरी माँ मैं क्या करूं।
कितने जन्मों से तुझे ढूंढ रहा हूँ, तेरे चरणों की राह मैं नहीं जानूं।
कितने जन्मों से तुझे ढूंढ रहा हूँ, तेरे चरणों की राह मैं नहीं जानूं।
शक्ति नहीं रास्ता नहीं फिर भी मैं खोजूं।
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 तू ही बता मेरी माँ मैं क्या करूँ।
तू ही बता मेरी माँ मैं क्या करूं।
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
पापों का बोझा उठाए भड़क रहा हूँ, मेरे दिल का फूल तो मुरझा गया है।
पापों का बोझा उठाए भटक रहा हूँ, मेरे दिल का फूल तो मुरझा गया है।
शुद्धि नहीं पुष्प नहीं फिर भी मैं खोजूं।
शुद्धि नहीं पुष्प नहीं फिर भी मैं खोजूं।
तू ही बता मेरी माँ मैं क्या करूँ।
तू ही बता मेरी माँ मैं क्या करूं।
गीत नहीं सुर नहीं फिर भी मैं गाऊं, तू ही बता मेरी माँ मैं क्या करूँ।
गीत नहीं सुर नहीं फिर भी मैं गाऊं, तू ही बता मेरी माँ मैं क्या करूं।
मेरे दिल में तेरे लिए कितने गीत हैं, लिखने वाला गाने वाला कहाँ से आए।
मेरे दिल में तेरे लिए कितने गीत हैं, लिखने वाला गाने वाला कहाँ से आए।
गीत नहीं सुर नहीं फिर भी मैं गाऊं।
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 तू ही बता मेरी माँ मैं क्या करूँ।
तू ही बता मेरी माँ मैं क्या करूं।
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
जय जगदम्बे दुर्गे माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ, जय जगदम्बे काली माँ अमृतपुरेश्वरी माँ।
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 वंदना करूं मैं तेरी, मुख में है तेरा नाम। जग के तुम पालन करता, तुम हो कृपा निधान।
वंदना करूं मैं तेरी, मुख में है तेरा नाम। जग में तुम पालन करता, तुम हो कृपा निधान।
वंदना करूं मैं तेरी, मुख में है तेरा नाम। जग के तुम पालन करता, तुम हो कृपा निधान।
वंदना करूं मैं तेरी, मुख में है तेरा नाम। जग में तुम पालन करता, तुम हो कृपा निधान।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। सच्चे में तुम ही मेरे, हे गौरी नंदना।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। सच्चे में तुम ही मेरे, हे गौरी नंदना।
नाम मिलते हैं शक्ति, सुमिरन से मिले भक्ति। नाम में तेरे
है शक्ति, सुमिरन से मिले भक्ति।
नाम में तेरे है शक्ति, सुमिरन से मिले भक्ति।
नाम तेरे है शक्ति, सुमिरन से मिले भक्ति।
एक ही तुझसे है विनती, तुझ में लीन रहे मेरी।
एक ही तुझसे है विनती, तुझ में लीन रहे मति।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। सच्चे में तुम ही मेरी, हे गौरी नंदना।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। सच्चे में तुम ही मेरे, हे गौरी नंदना।
व्याप्त जग में रहते हो, व्यक्त भी तो हो जाओ।
व्याप्त जग में रहते हो, व्यक्त भी तो हो जाओ।
व्याप्त जग में रहते हो, व्यक्त भी तो हो जाओ।
व्याप्त जग में रहते हो, व्यक्त भी तो हो जाओ।
मन मंदिर में दर्शन देकर अंधकार बुझा जाओ।
मन मंदिर में दर्शन देकर अंधकार बुझा जाओ।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। सच्चे में तुम ही मेरे, हे गौरी नंदना।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। सच्चे में तुम ही मेरे, हे गौरी नंदना।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। सच्चे में तुम ही मेरे, हे गौरी नंदना।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। सच्चे में तुम ही मेरे, हे गौरी नंदना।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। सच्चे में तुम ही मेरे, हे गौरी नंदना।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। सच्चे में तुम ही मेरे, हे गौरी नंदना।
सच्चे में तुम ही मेरी, हे गौरी नंदना।
सच्चे में तुम ही मेरे, हे गौरी नंदना।
सच्चे में तुम ही मेरी, हे गौरी नंदना।
सच्चे में तुम ही मेरे, हे गौरी नंदना।
मधुराधिपते द्वारकाधिपते वैकुंठपते श्रीराधापते मधुराधिपते द्वारकाधिपते वैकुंठपते श्रीराधापते
मधुराधिपते द्वारकाधिपते वैकुंठपते श्रीराधापते
मधुराधिपते द्वारकाधिपते वैकुंठपते श्रीराधापते
मधुराधिपते द्वारकाधिपते वैकुंठपते श्रीराधापते
नंदनंदन कृष्ण गोपाला मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर बाला
नंदनंदना कृष्ण गोपाला मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर बाला
मधुराधिपते
अधिपते वैकुंठपते श्रीराधापते
देवगी नंदन हे घनश्यामा गोपी मनोहर मंगलधामा
देवकी नंदना हे घनश्याम गोपी मनोहर मंगलधामा
कालिय मर्तन हे नंदलाला
कालियमर्दन हे नंदलाला
कालिय नर्तन हे नंदलाला
कालियमर्दन हे नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो रे भैया बांसुरी वाला मधुराधिपते
द्वारकाधिपते वैकुंठपते श्रीराधापते
सूरदास के प्रभु गिरिधारी राधा कृष्णा कुंज विहारी
सूरदास के प्रभु गिरिधारी राधा कृष्णा कुंज विहारी
वसुदेव नंदन असुर निखंडन
वसुदेवनन्दन असुरनिकन्दन
वसुदेव नंदन असुर निखंडन भय भंजन जगन्वंदना मधुराधिपते
द्वारकाधिपते वैकुंठपते श्रीराधापते
मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर गोपी कृष्ण कन्हैया
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 अभी देना तुम तेरा दर्शन
अभी तेरा तुम तेरा दर्शन
मेरा कृष्ण कन्हैया मधुराधिपते
द्वारकाधिपते वैकुंठपते श्रीराधापते
नंदनंदन कृष्ण कन्हैया मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नाला
नंदनंदना कृष्ण गोपाला मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर वाला
मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर वाला
मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर वाला
जय जय काली माँ 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 जय जय काली माँ
जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ
भयभञ्जिनी काली माँ जय जय भवतारिणी काली माँ
जय जय भयभञ्जिनी काली माँ जय जय भवतारिणी काली माँ
जय जय जगदीश्वरी काली माँ जय जय जगत्कारिणी काली माँ
जय जय जगदीश्वरी काली माँ जय जय जगत्कारिणी काली माँ
जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ
जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ
जय जय त्रिपुर सुंदरी काली माँ जय जय त्रिभुवनेश्वरी काली माँ जय जय कृपा सागरी काली माँ जय जय श्याम सुंदरी
जय जय त्रिपुर सुंदरी काली माँ जय जय त्रिभुवनेश्वरी काली माँ जय जय कृपा सागरी काली माँ जय जय श्याम सुंदरी
जय जय काली माँ 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 जय जय काली माँ
जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ
जय जय महायोगिनी काली माँ जय जय महामोहिनी काली माँ जय जय भक्तिदायिनी काली माँ जय जय मुक्तिदायिनी
जय जय महायोगिनी काली माँ जय जय महामोहिनी काली माँ जय जय भक्तिदायिनी काली माँ जय जय मुक्तिदायिनी
जय जय काली माँ 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 जय जय काली माँ
जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ जय जय काली माँ
जय जय मातृरूपिणी काली माँ, जय जय 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 काली माँ,
जय जय काली माँ, जय जय काली माँ, जय जय काली माँ, जय जय काली माँ, जय जय काली माँ, जय जय काली माँ,
जय जय काली माँ, जय जय काली माँ, जय जय काली माँ, जय जय काली माँ, जय जय काली माँ, जय जय काली माँ,
जय जय काली माँ, जय जय काली माँ, जय जय
माता अमृतानंदमयी प्रेम रसामृत वर्षिणी माता अमृतानंदमयी प्रेम भक्ति संधायिनी माता अमृतानंदमयी माता अमृतानंदमयी समदमदायिनी मंगलयकारिणी अमृतानंदमयी सततं मम हृदि वसदा देवी अमृतानंदमयी माता पतितोद्धार निरंतर हृदये अमृतानंदमयी परमहंस पद निलये देवी अमृतानंदमयी माता अमृतानंदमयी हे जननी जनि मरण निवारिणी अमृतानंदमयी हे सृजन परिपालिनी जयदा अमृतानंदमयी माता अमृतानंदमयी सुरजन पूजित जय जगदम्बा अमृतानंदमयी सहज समाधि सुधन्ये देवी अमृतानंदमयी माता अमृतानंदमयी माता अमृतानंदमयी माता अमृतानंदमयी ओम जय 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 जननी वन्दे अमृतानंदमयी मंगलहारिणी माता भवानी अमृतानंदमयी माता अमृतानंदमयी माता जय बोलो सद्गुरु माता अमृतानंदमयी देवी की अमृतेश्वरी मंगलम प्रणमदा मुक्तिप्रदे मंगलम
भुवनेश्वरी मंगलम सुकृतिना
एकाश्रये
मंगलम
अमृतेश्वरी मंगलम प्रणमदा मुक्तिप्रदे मंगलम भुवनेश्वरी मंगलम सुकृतिना एकाश्रये मंगलम हृदयेश्वरी मंगलम हृदिलस तेजोमयी मंगलम मृदुभाषिणी मंगलम विजयदा प्रेमाग्रदे मंगलम विजयदा प्रेमाग्रदे मंगलम विजयदा प्रेमादे मंगलम्। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोकाः समस्ताः